governor plans to approve $5 million in funding to increase security for nonprofits and places of worship. Leaders say this couldn't really come at a better time, as unfortunately we have seen an uptick in attacks on synagogues and temples. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Marcy Jones breaks us down and tells us where the money is going to go. Good morning, Marcy.
Good morning, Raj. Well, churches, synagogues, mosques, and nonprofits are just some of the places that could benefit from this funding. However, it's not an automatic handout. Each individual place will have to apply. Now, the money can be used toward things like fences, gates, locks, security cameras, all of that, anything to increase protection. Congregations like Enfield United Church of Christ, a place of worship that openly supports the LGBTQ plus community, says that they are encouraged that lawmakers are recognizing the need for more security. Back in June, 2 men interrupted a sermon with hate speech while the church recognized Pride Month. The church was also targeted again last month when their bench was vandalized with hateful phrases. Many are hopeful these funds will discourage future attacks on religious entities.
This money will be especially helpful to those churches that might be targets in their areas and don't have cameras and security systems and all of that in place.
Governor Lamont will sign this today, make it official. Houses of worship will have to apply individually, and they will receive up to $50,000 for them to use for extra protection. Reporting live in Hartford, Marcy Jones, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.